Hey everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome back to another episode of Gay Replay Dragon Age. In our first episode, we met our brand spanking new Gayquisitor, a dwarf, really adorable dwarf, named Andy. We were able to go through the first main mission of the entire game, and now we're gonna head into the Chantry and meet up, find Cassandra.
Have you gone completely mad? He should be...
Here we go.
Chain him! I want him prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
Who, me?
Disregard that and leave us.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
You want my help again?
Let me guess. You need my help.
You have done plenty. Your actions will be taken into account by the new Divine.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect,
You, and many others.
but not the prisoner.
I
at
heard
that
the
face.
voices in the temple. The Divine called to him for help.
So his survival, that thing on his hand, all a coincidence.
Providence. The Maker sent him to us in our darkest hour.
So the major difference, I don't know if I mentioned this before, the major difference between Andy and Art, personality-wise, is Andy is essentially he's an atheist. He is not really a big believer in really any organized religion. He doesn't necessarily look down on people who practice organized religion. I mean, he figures whatever, to each their own. If they buy all that stuff, sure. Like, all he really cares is whether or not you're a half decent person. As long as you're a half decent person, he doesn't care what you believe. But he personally is definitely not a believer in the Maker and not in Andraste. Sure, you believe innocent. I'm not just. Are you serious?
5 minutes ago, you wanted me dead. And now I'm your savior.
I was wrong. Perhaps I still am. I will not, however, pretend you were not exactly what we needed when we needed it.
The breach remains, and your mark is still our only hope of closing it.
This is not for you to decide.
You know what this is, Chancellor. A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order with or without your approval.
You tell him, Cassie.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I feel that the dynamic, at least in the beginning, the dynamic between Cassandra and Andy are going to be a lot different between Cassandra and Art, because already I can see that Art's disbelief in the Maker and in organized religion is probably going to have him bash heads with Cassandra quite a bit. Whereas with Art, even though Art was not truly a believer in the Maker, at least not completely, him and Cassandra ended up being really, really good friends. They had an understanding. So I'm curious to find out during this adventure how close Andy and Cassandra become, if at all. Does it make sense for them to become close? And that'll probably play into, of course, a major decision at the end when it comes down to who ends up being the Divine. I went to this game fully fully wanting to try to choose Cassandra as the new divine, as opposed to Liliana, because that is who we put up as the successor for Divine Destinia was Liliana. But I don't know. Right now, it's starting to feel like I really feel like Andy's gonna get along much better with Liliana than with Cassandra. And hey, Ginger's got to stick together. I'm just saying. So but most likely, my third Inquisitor, the one that's going to be romancing Cullen, I've decided that she's going to be the other side of the coin. My third Inquisitor, she is going to be very pro Andrastian, very religious, very pro Maker, and most likely, if I end up not making Cassandra the divine in this playthrough, it's okay, because I feel like my third Inquisitor will be able to cover that. But in the meantime, it'll be interesting to see how the relationship between these two characters will end up developing over time, and just interesting to see how different it is with the way that things develop between Art and Cassandra.
What if I refuse?
You can go if you wish.
You should know that while some believe you chosen, many still think you guilty. The Inquisition can only protect you if you are with us.
We can also help you.
It will not be easy if you stay. But you cannot pretend this has not changed you.
Got a point.
You're trying to start a holy war.
We are already at war. You are already involved. Its mark is upon you. As to whether the war is holy, that depends on what we discover.
What is the Inquisition of old, exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done, united under a single banner once more.
What is the Inquisition of old, exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done, united under a single banner once more.
I don't think that Andy would ask about the Chantry. I want to help. This is rather strange. I agree for now. This is rather strange.
When I woke up, I suddenly didn't picture this outcome.
Neither did we.
Help us fix this before it's too late.
All right. All right. So just to clarify, guys, I don't think that Andy doesn't care about other people. I don't think that he doesn't care about other innocents. That's not it at all. He's just... The way I'm feeling him is... Oh, well, let's let this epic scene play out before I continue giving my character analysis of my own main protagonist, my own Inquisitor. Because this is a very well done. Well, anyway, you guys have already seen this, so I'll just go ahead and talk over this, because there's nothing Andy specific here except for the very end. Nothing different here from where Art is. So, but no, I don't think that Andy doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about his people, and he's not just looking out for himself. Because the big thing that you have to understand again is that he's very cautious with people he doesn't know. But once he gets to know you, and once you earn his trust and earn his friendship, he is dead loyal to you, and he will do everything that he can to watch your back and to back you up. That is the kind of person that he is. Would he ignore people, innocent people who are in trouble? No, I don't think Andy would just ignore innocent people. I think he might sigh, and, you know, he might sigh a bit and groan, but deep down inside, he can't just leave a situation if he can save someone or help someone out. He might be less inclined if for whatever reason that person rubs you the wrong way, if he doesn't really particularly care for you, then he might look the other way. I guess if he feels like you deserve it. If you deserve it, then yeah, he might not necessarily be so quick to come to your aid. So that's kind of how I'm playing him. It's so different watching Andy because Art towered over all of the advisors, and Andy's like total shift. Total shift in the story. It's already feeling like a different story with a different Inquisitor. So we've got Andy here. Yay, give him a name and item to research, report to Chantry. Alright, well I'm gonna go around and I don't know if there's really any new dialogue. I guess you guys might be interested in seeing how Andy interacts with the other characters, so I'll go ahead and do that before I jump around. Let's start. I think Andy would want to talk to Varric first. Let's go ahead and talk to Varric. I would be excited to do that. We'll talk to Varric. Varric! Hey, buddy!
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
Yeah, well, I'm fine. This is all... I don't know if Andy would say that. I can barely keep up. I'm just glad to be alive. Too many people died up there. I'm just glad to be alive. I'm fine. I can barely keep up. Yeah, I'm just glad to be alive.
I'm just glad I'm still standing after all that.
I still can't believe you survived Cassandra. You're lucky you were out cold for most of her frothing rage. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and Maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
Another thing that I see Andy and Varric bonding over, not just the fact that they're both dwarves and they're both rogues and that they both have kind of the same shade of hair, like same colored hair, sort of, but I think that Cassandra and Varric have a little bit of an animosity between each other, and it doesn't look like Andy and Cassandra are going to be that much more of an improvement between the two of them, so...
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
Yeah, and as much as Andy hates to admit it, he kind of agrees with Varric. He can't just... He has this mark thing. It sounds like if he doesn't stop this, the entire world's going to be... It'll end up reaching him eventually anyway. So he figures, well, all these people think I can fix this, so why not? I'll play along. I'll humor him.
I'm still not sure I believe that any of this is really happening.
If this is all just the Maker winding us up, I hope there's a damn good punchline coming. You might want to consider running at the first opportunity.
Oh, he's thought about it.
I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going.
He's thought about it.
Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky, that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
Varric, I want to talk to you still.
Need something?
I have a personal question.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that crossbow.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. There's a hidden shop in Kirkwall called the Black Emporium. I found her in a barrel labeled swag. The owner sold her to me for a ham sandwich and a pair of yellow ruffled pants.
Who's she named for?
I can't tell you.
And the reason for that is?
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant.
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
That's all for me. No. What books do you write?
You're an author. What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
That's kind of depressing.
What sort of shops do you own?
Actually, we don't own shops. That was just an example. Mostly we invest in money lenders. Auction houses, a few mercenary companies, a couple of smithies. I think we own half a beet plantation in Ravane somewhere. Most of that's my brother's doing. Bartrand had business sense. Not much tact, but loads of business
Oh,
sense.
Bartrand. I don't know if we ended up killing Bartrand. I'm wondering if we ended up in the state of Thetis that I loaded from this. I have a feeling we ended up killing Bartrand in this version.
If you've run a spy network, why is Leliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
Yeah, it's more of Barrack's style.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Are you from Ferelden? Or Ley?
Free marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
It's worse.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem. Need something?
I have questions about Hawk.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
No, I wanted to ask about Hawk.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
Did I not choose Hawk?
Need something?
I have questions about Hawk.
I've read your
There we
Tale
go.
of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Where are the rest of Hawk's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish
Oh, they're still alive.
Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the Tevinter slavers who came south to prey on the refugees. I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Last I knew, Hawk's sister Bethany was doing something wardeny near the Andover
Bethany!
border. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
So in this version, Bethany's alive and Carver's,
Need something?
unfortunately. Carver passed away, but that's okay. I love Bethany as well.
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
In the book, you say that first Enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses. How? Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? Well, I can't tell you how. For the why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Apparently I lost some approval from Barrack for asking him that question, but I don't know. I think Andy was curious.
Your book doesn't say what happened after the Arish shock left Kirkwall.
He kind of lost the tome of Coslin again, along with the thief. As I understand it, he returned to Parvalan to find the Kunari equivalent of a court-martial waiting for him. There's a new guy named Arishok now, and asking about the old one is a nightmare of logic.
Yeah, I know about that. I completely forgot. So in this state, also, the other thing is, Don't hate me. I just wanted to see what would happen. But Hawk in this Thetis ended up turning Isabella over to the Arashok. So, and that's how we solved that conflict. So, yeah. The thief.
Carry
Poor
on.
Isabella. Poor Izzy. I think I have one more thing to ask
Need
of you.
something?
Tell me about the red lyrium.
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bartrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the deep roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bartrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
How did the red lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. As far as I knew, there was only one small piece of the original idol we brought out of the deep roads. And it's locked in a vault in Kirkwall, one I had built by the mining cast especially to hold it.
Why do you have red lyrium?
My brother kept a sliver when he sold it. I'm pretty sure he held on to it because it was already talking to him. That little shard drove him mad. After his death, I found it hidden in his house. We brought the shit to the surface, Bartrand and I. I wanted to find out if there was a way to shut it up. So far, it looks like the answer is no.
Right, so Bartrand is dead in this one.
If red lyrium is as dangerous as you say, why do you keep it?
I've heard that shit singing to me. I know better than anyone how bad it is. In Orzammar, miners keep regular, non-crazy raw lyrium in special lead-lined containers. Actually, it's a huge secret how they're constructed. Keeps surface folk from horning in on the lyrium trade. I pulled a lot of strings and got a smith to build me 4 of them nested inside each other.
Wow, yeah.
Nobody gets to study it up close for more than an hour, and they have to wait a week between shifts.
Which is smart.
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house in Orzammar. No one's seen this stuff before or knows where it came from.
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You'll hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life.
Yeah.
I've had a few alchemists studying it in Kirkwall, in shifts.
That's enough, Eric.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject.
Alright, Solus is over there. The breach is calm, but the trouble is only becoming. Let's go talk to Solus. Solus! I'm curious again to see how... I'm not sure how quickly Andy and Solus will get close. I know Art really ended up getting close with Solus from the beginning because he just was in awe at how smart he was.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
Sounds dashing.
Am I riding in on a shining steed?
I would have suggested a griffon, but sadly they're extinct. Joke as you will, posturing is necessary. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
A smart and happy hero, unstoppable.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
I imagine you find some amazing things in there, alongside all the demons.
Exactly. It is occasionally dangerous, yes. But more often it's just sad to see what has been lost. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate surrounded by Chantry forces in the middle of a mage rebellion. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
He's not sure about Cassandra.
The giant hole in the sky trumps any other concerns. We can worry about the rest later.
Yes. Who can say what this world will look like when we are done fighting for it? But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
I wasn't able to say what kind of hero I wanted to be.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Anything with that kind of power is bound to show up sooner or later.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
I must know I can trust you.
You're an elven mage. Not from the Circle, not Dalish. You're an unknown
Fair
elf.
enough.
I wouldn't trust my life to a blade before I'd tested its balance.
Ah,
Nor would I. All right. What can I tell you?
that's good. That's a good answer, Andy.
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imagination.
Right.
To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
There you go.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroy the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Weird, but good for you. To each their own.
Well, it's not the
Slight
worst
streak.
reason I've heard to go out and enjoy life.
I'm glad to hear it. In truth, I have enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train to flick a dagger or an arrow to its target. The grace with which you move is a pleasing side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers. The best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I think Andy is a sucker for stories, for heroic stories.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelan fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
You can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
You trust these spirits not to possess you the first time you accidentally make a wish?
Do you trust your friends not to turn on you?
Well, yes, but they're people.
Ah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Are people only people because they are flesh and blood? Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his...
Well, actually, that's a really good point. I'm really loving this interaction between Solas and Andy. It's so different from Art, because with Art, I guess Art was just he respected Solas so much, and he was just totally buying in completely, saying, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and he didn't question, really, Solas all that much. So, and I don't think that Andy's questioning Solas to be disrespectful. I don't think he's doing it because I don't think Andy dislikes Solas at all. I think he's just trying to figure him out. He's trying to get it. I think Andy's he places more faith, he places more weight on logic over faith, and like a lot of this stuff about the Fade he doesn't really understand. So he's asking a lot of questions, and if things don't make all that logical sense to Andy, then he challenges Solas, and again, not in an antagonistic way, but just questions him, and then Solas just comes right back and tells him. He challenges. Right now, he's challenging Andy's belief system, and I think Andy was really taken aback with what Solas said, because I think he's realizing the way he said it, the way it sounded like he said it, it seemed a little ignorant, and I think Andy's starting to realize that. So it's pretty cool to see how Andy's personality is going to be shaped by each of these characters, because I feel like between Art and Andy, I can kind of see that Andy's personality is going to evolve much deeper, have a larger evolution change than Art, just because of how based on this conversation. Spirits lack free will. I'm not arguing this. You need a body to be real. Yes, spirits are people. Spirits lack free will. I think this is what Andy thinks right now, but now he's like, this is pretty much what, it's simple. It's like, well, yeah, in order to be a person, you need to have a body, duh. But Solas is probably going to argue with him about that.
They're not defined by their bodies, but they do have bodies. You need one to be a person.
A demon possessing a corpse has a body.
A living body.
A demon possesses a living mage to become an abomination.
They didn't make that body, they just took it over.
Technically, your mother created your body. With some help from your father, one assumes.
Solas is good.
You've thought about this.
On occasion, yes.
But Andy's impressed. This is really challenging him a lot. Andy's really impressed by this, and I'm really glad that Solas is challenging him, because we're going to be meeting Cole soon, and wow, just seeing how Andy will react to Cole, because I think unlike Art, Andy's going to find Cole a little weird. Not because, again, I feel like it's more like, not because he would not like Cole, it's just he would have a harder time getting him, figuring him out. Alright, see you, Solus.
We'll talk later.
Oh, I'm really curious. I am, knowing what I know about what happens in the game and knowing what I know about the other characters, I am really excited now, more than before, just to see how Andy will react to and how he will behave differently amongst the other, interacting with the other characters. This is really awesome. So cool. Oh, I don't know if that seems awesome to you guys or cool to you guys, but I'm just, it's cool to me. So I'm really excited. Let's go in here and start up this cutscene, and I might end this video fairly soon because I feel like we're almost hitting the 30-minute mark, or maybe even surpassed. We probably already surpassed the 30-minute mark, but.
Does it trouble you?
It's fine. Where does it come from? I want it gone. It didn't close the breach. Not anymore. Where does it come from? It's fine. I want it gone. Yeah. Andy, right now, he's not completely gung-ho about all this. He will do it just because he feels like he should. He feels it's more of an obligation. He feels obligated to do it, not because he necessarily, quote-unquote, wants to do it, whereas Art had a little bit more, cared a little bit more to do it. But I think it'll take time. It'll take time for Andy to really get himself buying in completely to this whole Inquisition thing.
I wish I could get rid of it.
We have need of it yet.
So you've mentioned.
What's important is that your mark is now stable, as is the breach. You've given us time, and Solas believes a second attempt might succeed, provided the mark has more power. The same level of power used to open the breach in the first place. That is not easy to come by.
Well, actually, yeah, that sounds like fun.
What harm could there be in powering up something we barely understand?
Hold on to that sense of humor.
He's starting to come out of his shell with Cassandra. He's starting to warm up to Cassandra.
May I present Commander Cullen, leader of the Inquisition's forces.
Such as they are. We lost many soldiers in the valley, and I fear many more before this is
Right.
through.
This is Lady Josephine Montelier, our ambassador and chief diplomat.
I've heard much. It's a pleasure to meet you at last.
And of course, you know Sister Liliana.
My position here involves a degree of...
She is our spy master.
Yes, tactfully put, Cassandra.
No, I don't think Andy's gonna say that. Well, why am I here? He might still be a little...
Cassandra tells me you have a plan.
I mentioned that your mark needs more power to close the breach for good.
Which means we must approach the rebel mages for help.
And I still disagree. The Templars could serve just as well.
We need power, Commander. Enough magic poured into that mark.
Might destroy us all. Templars could suppress the breach, weaken it, so...
Pure speculation.
I was a Templar. I know what they're capable of.
Unfortunately, neither group will even speak to us yet. The Chantry has denounced the Inquisition, and you specifically.
That was quick. Does that matter? That was quick. They still think I did it.
Can't you simply ignore them?
If only that weapon...
Can't you simply ignore them?
Some are calling you, a dwarf, the Herald of Andraste. That frightens the Chantry. The remaining clerics have declared it blasphemy, and we, heretics, for harboring you.
Chancellor Roderick's doing, no doubt.
It limits our options. Approaching the mages or Templars for help is currently out of the question.
Just how am I the Herald of Andraste?
People saw what you did at the temple, how you stopped the breach from growing. They have also heard about the woman seen in the rift when we first found you. They believe that was Andraste.
Even if we tried to stop that view from spreading.
Which we have not.
The point is, everyone is talking about you.
It's quite the title, isn't it? How do you feel about it?
I think Andy really is starting to warm up to Cullen. Yeah, I think Andy's kind of undressing Cullen with his eyes right now. He's like, I don't really want to talk about all this stuff. Can I just hang out with this really cute blonde human guy? I like it. I don't know. They're wrong. It's unnerving. They're wrong. It's unnerving. I like it. He's gonna be polite. They're wrong. Yeah, they're wrong.
I'm no herald of anything, particularly not on Draste.
I'm sure the Chantry would agree.
People are desperate for a sign of hope. For some, you're that sign.
And to others, a symbol of everything that's gone wrong.
So if I wasn't with the Inquisition...
Well, let's be honest, they would have censored us no matter what.
And you not being here isn't an option.
There is something you can do. A Chantry cleric by the name of Mother Giselle has asked to speak to you. She is not far, and knows those involved far better than I. Her assistance could be invaluable.
Why would someone from the Chantry help a declared heretic?
I understand she's a reasonable sort. Perhaps she does not agree with her sisters. You will find Mother Giselle tending to the wounded in the hinterlands near Red
Oh, the
Cliff.
hinterlands.
Look for other opportunities to expand the Inquisition's influence while you're there.
We need agents to extend our reach beyond this valley, and you're better suited than anyone to recruit them.
In the meantime, let's think of other options. I won't leave this all to the Herald.
He appreciates that. Don't worry, guys. Oh, here we go. The operations table. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm not going to be spending much time at the hinterlands at all, especially not as much as I did last time. And even if I did, I'm not going to record that for this replay. It'll just skip around, like I said. Whew. Well, now that we got the operations in, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thanks, guys, for watching this episode of Gay Replay Dragon Age Inquisition. Tune in next time, everybody, and until then, love yourselves and love each other.